straight off the top, I love all of my niggas. That shit ain't gon' stop till we on top and we ballin', my nigga. We be fly as fuck, you know them bitches be stalking my niggas. That shit'll never change and it's the same with all my niggas. City to city, I should be at home, that's what my ribs say. But bitch, I'm grown, I'm in these streets and closed caption. Niggas know we bout that action. If a nigga play with me, then my Hakim gon' let him have it. Hey, think you the shit, this truth the shit. Nigga play, I let that Ruger hit. Get on them tracks, they be like, who is this? I'm rude with it, ain't got no manners. All them pussy niggas talk the shit, yeah, I know they can't stand us, but we UPK Louisiana, bitch, that's what I'm reppin'. And my niggas solid, number real ones in my section. If you wanna get down, put your boots on, start steppin'. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood I lay my life down right now for all my sisters and brothers, because I love them. I see them dapping and hug them. It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of sin, trapped in the gutter. My mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Run with them killers, so it's just a matter of time. For why take your life or let you take mine? That's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man live to get old. We in them graves, the shit got me feeling played. I opened the Bible, went through them records, found out we was royalty, a nation to be respected. But in this world we rejected, we hated for our complexion. Still fighting to get accepted, we hear the truth and reject it. But love is getting corrected, and all my niggas correct me. The commandments, the foundation we erected. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Hey, hey. Hey, hey.
All jokes aside, you know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life, I'm this and that for life. I'm on West for life, nigga, this a blood oath. Hey, yo, Madara, here go a class for you, my nigga. 140 for the rebel. The world turned its back on me. I'm a crippling. We got soldiers, he got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out, I tell you once. Don't pray for nothing, sin and curse. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Remain in them trenches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. If rankings given, have your respect to your apprentice. Be about your business. This loyalty's a death sentence. Look, trying to pick up with a blind field. They said there'll be many mansions. I'm just grinding for my time share. Them devils ain't playing fair. They hunt you like Van Pelt, but ain't no getting out the game like Jumanji. You take that oath, it's a Dundee. Try to deal death to a priest, you won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand, just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times, then it's death do us part. No. So how you feel about this truth I done shown you? This ain't the life you think, little nigga, I should want. Even your own people go disown. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing, ain't no more questions. Make sure my election till I'm tucked away like George Jetson. Murder for capital, now it's murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement, we like fuck 'em, raise it, raise it. I pity those watching life as it go by. Be giving mercy in this life, I don't know why. In puff smoke, never try to. The day that on my brother be the day that sold out on the photo. Salute my nigga. Salute my nigga. They like, how you stay focused? I told them I'm motivated cause of you, my nigga. Brotherhoods and weapons, still got weapons on the scene. And I never do my niggas like Bishop did Raheem. Never mind in all beliefs, they under anesthesia. Shorty say she need me, say she wanna let that love go. Told I let that love grow. But if I bring you to my bed, that's a blood oath. Know what it is, man. So, how you feel about this truth I done showed? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want even your own people gon' disown. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Shalom Israel. This is the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. I'm Priest and Officer Tapazar. This is ISUPK Killeen Brotherhood class. And today's topic is who do you love? But first, if anybody has any questions, we can deal with the questions first. Then I'll get into the topic. But for y'all, for the topic, we're gonna be running into 1 John chapter 4. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're gonna start off at for the topic. But if anybody has any questions, you can put them in the chat. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Barakatham to the brothers, to the Akim, and Shalom, Yahweh Shemal Atham Ba Shem Yahweh Shah to the sisters. You know what I'm saying? Akwakian. Sis, you had a question you wanted to ask?
Hi, sir.
Okay.
Can brothers court multiple women at the same time?
So your question is, can brothers court multiple women at the same time? You mean like in the school or just like in the world? Because
right.
in the world,
School,
that's common practice, right? To answer that, I would say that there's no law against it. I've never heard anybody say that couldn't be done. Within the ISUPK, the courting process is definitely governed by protocol. What I would say is that what's that scripture? It's all things might be lawful unto me, but everything may not be expedient. That word expedient, can you look that word up? What that mean? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sister Yakar, Sister Kasalar. I ain't gonna lie, Sis Kasalar, I'm mad about that. What's that drawing you had? I did not get my name put in the bucket. You know what I'm saying? Ooh wee. I can only imagine what those things look like. But Salakia, but shout out to everybody that won. And I was, good night. I had to shake the cane off me. You know what I mean? Shout out to Dashana, everybody that's in class, you know what I'm saying? Shalom. Okay, the definition of expedient.
The definition of expedient: of an action convenient and practical, although possibly improper or immoral.
Wow. Read that again? That's heavy. Good night.
Convenient and practical, although possibly improper or immoral.
Right. Now I would never say that courting more than one sister is immoral, but it may not be. What was the other description of it?
Practical.
No, the other side when it said immoral, something else.
Improper.
Improper, right? So, when you're going through a courting process, especially for when you come into the school and you coming out of the world, we kind of used to like dealing with multiple people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's kind of going to go into the topic about who do you love. You know what I'm saying? People use different like reasonings for why they talk to more than one person, but really, what it's about is it's really like what you want to call detachment. Now I'm gonna answer the question. You know what I'm saying? Is it unlawful or is it like a practice that's banned in the school? No. From what I understand, you can court multiple people, but is it expedient? I would say that you know, unless a brother is like highly seasoned and highly developed and trained, you know what I'm saying? Or sister, you know what I'm saying? It's probably the wiser thing to just when in a courtship to focus on one person because like we're gonna get into this topic today, you know, who do you love? Like I said, we come out of the world and we're used to just talking to multiple people. And let me ask you the question: why do you think people, whether it be sisters or men, why do you or brothers, why do you think? And anybody can answer the question in the chat, whoever. Why do you think that people talk to more than one person?
Variety?
Golly,
To see they options? So like, yeah.
variety. That's not. No, give her a hand. That ain't a bad answer, I guess. You know what I mean? But good night. Well, I guess. Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask a question then. So, do you think that sisters should be looking for variety?
Blah.
Oh, you sure?
Not all this. Okay, so do all at the same time? I think
Mm,
hell no. But if you're courting and then I'm not really feeling this brother. Let me court somebody else, and then you end that courtship.
right,
That is the right way to go about it.
right. So, really, the question is can brothers court more than one
Right. Right.
woman? A sister definitely cannot.
Okay.
That I can answer unequivocally. I'm sure.
Right.
I'm sure I can answer that with all authority. Sisters cannot court more than one brother.
Right.
But can a brother court more than one sister? I would say possibly yes. But is it the expedient thing to do? So, but to your point, sis. So a sister making a decision to court a particular person, she does have coming within the school. There are a lot of brothers within the school, so I would say a sister should take her time in examining by watching, observing brothers. Their discipline, their mannerisms, how they carry themselves, how they move within the school. In that sense of variety, then yes, I would say that's tawab in terms of examining before you decide to court or put in a request in, or even if you're requested to take the time to consider. You know what I'm saying? Because one part of courtship is really kind of like you have to like know yourself. I was having a conversation with Officer Karab the other day, and he was talking to me about how important it is to know yourself. You know what I mean? And you hear people like the Blackity Blacks, all these like what's the brother Yaki talking about? You shouldn't be drinking water and just live off of air and light. They be talking about know yourself, but knowing yourself in the sense of what you prefer, because everything comes down to preference. You know what I mean? Sometimes, and it's knowing what your preferences are, what you prefer, your disposition or your temperament, or how you're designed, and that's important when you choose somebody. Is really knowing who you are. A lot of times, like I said, I don't want to get off into the topic yet, but people sometimes what they call love is really just a fantasy. And they say that distance creates fondness. Looking at somebody from a distance, right? Like I'll give you an example. When I was growing up, they would say things like, like it's romantic to look at the moon. You know what I mean? Like on the beach. I'm serious. Like people go to, like, you see the movies, people be in their car like the drop top with the top off, and they're on the edge of a cliff looking over the city and they looking at the moon. And that's supposed to be like romantic, right? And like, people can look at the moon and admire it as glowing, but then if you ask somebody, do you want to go live on the moon? They gonna be like, hell nah. You know what I'm saying? I like to look at it, but I don't want to live on it. I don't want to live with it. And a lot of times people, they look at a person from a distance and they're like, man, and they admire them from a distance. That's how you get fans. You know what I'm saying? But in order to be able to live with somebody, because that's what marriage is, courtship is supposed to lead to marriage. That's you having to live and deal with somebody every day. So that level of commitment will require a level of focus that in courtship, you should be taking your time to examine the person that you're dealing with and really finding out based on how you know yourself, and then you getting to know them, if this is something that you would want to commit yourself to. So is it wrong or is it unlawful to court more than one woman? No. Is it expedient? I would say it's not expedient. You know what I mean? Unless you're just highly developed and highly seasoned. And, I would say that it's better just to focus on one sister examine her, you know what I'm saying, vet her, test her, try her, you know, like start arguments that you really don't care about, see how she responds to, you know, conflict, because, you know, 80%, I would say 85% of a relationship, a marriage, sisters think that a lot of it is about like, you know, the physical, not when I say physical, I don't mean, I'm talking about like the affection, you know what I'm saying, or the romance. But really, in terms of a successful marriage, 85% of that's going to be conflict resolution. So you really want to have like where you are bumping heads with somebody to see how they manage, you know, conflict resolution on both sides. Because that's a sure, you know, you like, oh, I like how he dressed, how he got that fourth dimension. I like how he smelled. Ooh, look how his braids look. You know what I'm saying? I like how he rocked them dawadas. Oh my, he got that drip, he got style. But how is it going to be when you get into when you get into a disagreement? How are you going to manage your emotions, and how are you going to respond to him, you know, being an authority figure and dealing with you? So those are things that a brother got to look out for in a sister. Can she handle it? And then the sister got to sit, you know, look at the man like is he developed in leadership? So does that answer your question, sis?
Fine, sir.
Okay, no sweat. Is there any other questions in the chat?
I saw one more brother, young man out of Vegas.
Okay, what's going on, young man D? Shalom, Mark.
Says, Salakia, sir, if I may, Leviticus 19:19. What is the seed pertaining to in the scripture, and can it be pertaining to no smoking weed?
Okay, can you get that? It's Leviticus 19 and what? 19?
19.
Okay. Go ahead and get that. Let's rock out. Remember, y'all pay y'all tithes, you know what I'm saying? And pay your Passover fee. You know what I'm saying? We less than like, what is it, almost 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks away. You know what I'm saying? For the Passover. You know what I'm saying? Young man D, I hope you coming out to the Passover, man. I hope I get to meet you in person, man. You know, salute you, man. And everybody, it's a kind of a crazy little season we in, man. I'm kind of like, I can't wait to get the Passover. Everything feeling like the Twilight Zone. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to see my brothers and my sisters, man. You got that?
Gotcha.
All right.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 19.
Mm-hmm.
Ye shall keep my statutes.
Right.
Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind.
Okay.
Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed.
Uh-huh.
Neither shall a garment mingled of linen and woolen come upon thee.
Okay. So the first part of that scripture, can you read that first part dealing with the cattle?
Come. Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind.
Right. So, young man D, have you ever seen like a donkey? You know what I'm saying? Or a jackass? You know what I'm saying? A mule, right? A mule the donkey, the mule was created through somebody gendering or mating a horse with I believe it's with the donkey. Because a donkey's not the prerogative, a mule is, I believe. So a mule is a horse with the donkey, which you're not supposed to do, but people have done it. Now, the reason why you know this is because a mule can't reproduce after that. Like once a mule is born, it don't have the power to reproduce. So the Lord didn't want you taking cattle and trying to mix them up, which, I mean, I don't know how much they tried to do that, but like you couldn't take a goat and mix it with with the sheep. You dig what I'm saying? So that's the first part is saying about mingling. Like you're not supposed to mingle two different types of cattle together, you know what I'm saying, to try to create like a new breed of something. So that's what the first part is talking about, because like the mule can't produce anything after that. Like once a mule is born, he's gonna die. He won't produce anything after that. But that came from mixing horses with donkeys, if I'm not mistaken. What's the second part of that?
Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed.
Right. So all this is talking about is that you're supposed to keep your, like if you go to a farm, you see they'll have corn in one part, then they'll have like, onions over here, green beans over here. Everything is separated. You know what I'm saying? So when it's saying not to sow your field with mingled seed, meaning that you don't mix up the different types of vegetable seed that you have and plant them together. You keep them separate. So, and you brought up the weed thing. I don't think that applies to what you're talking about, but I will say this: if you notice, a lot of these what do they call them, like the weed farms, they develop new strains by mingling seeds. You know what I'm saying? When I was younger, they had stuff. It was called like I'm so old, man. I'm trying to think of what they used to call it. Oh yeah, like they called it Thai weed. Something was called like, it was like chocolate Thai, and what was another one? I can't remember. It's old names. Now you got moon rocks and
Right.
you know what I mean, and like they're taking different strains of weed plants and they're merging them together to create stronger strains, and they're introducing like fentanyl into them and different drugs and they're increasing the potency of THC to the point where it's really just a narcotic. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But in terms of what the scripture's talking about, it's talking about not mixing seeds together when you're casting seed into your farmland or whatever like that. And then the last one is what?
Neither shall a garment mingled of linen and woolen come upon thee.
Right. So, fake Israelites say that you can't wear polyester and rayon. If it's 40% polyester and 60% rayon, you can't wear that. That's not what that's talking about. This is really talking about like the merchants. You understand? And even in terms of that law with the seed is talking about the merchants, meaning the people who own businesses. If you were a farmer, because of the size of your land, you might try to throw everything all together because
Right.
you're trying to capitalize on the acreage that you have. So you don't want to separate the seed because it's taking up more space. When you could just kind of in your head, I put it all near each other, like real close or together, and it'll all grow up together. And as a businessman, you weren't supposed to be selling anything that came from mingled seed. Same with the animals. It's really about business owners. So with this fabric, you weren't supposed to. It's almost like to put in a practical sense. It's like when people sell Coke and they say it's stepped on. You're mixing it with the what's that baby the laxative. You know what I'm saying? Or you can step on it with other stuff to where you stretch the drug out or the Coke out. That's what they were trying to do with the fabric. So it's basically, so the business owners, they'd say they'd be on the market saying this is 100% cotton, but they didn't mix it with another fabric because they want to stretch out their cotton to be able to make more money. That's what our oppressor does. That's why when you go get your chicken nuggets, it ain't, they tell you what they say, it's made of chicken with other parts or
Right.
other processed meats or whatever like that. Is because they're trying to stretch out the chicken. Ain't enough chicken farms in the whole world to make all this chicken that we getting. You know what I'm saying? Some of this chicken ain't chicken, and that's why they're going towards the impossible meat and all that, because they're trying to stretch out for money. It's about profit. So when it says you're not supposed to have that on you, all it means is all it's talking about is that the merchants aren't supposed to be selling you a product that isn't what you represent it to be. They're calling something a chicken sandwich, and really it's processed chicken, and they got a whole bunch of preservatives, additives, and a whole bunch of other stuff in there. I don't even know what the words are for it, but I watched a documentary with McDonald's, and the chicken nuggets was pink slime. Yeah, it had chicken in it, but it wasn't all chicken. It was 20% chicken, 80% slime, pink slime. So I'm just trying to give you a practical example of what that's talking about. All right, really, I'm gonna be real with you. At least 75% of the laws was towards the rich, the people who were in business. Because when you're rich and you're in business, a lot of times your mind isn't focused on brotherhood or the people. Your mind is really focused on profit. And you'll harm your brother to make a profit, or you'll harm your brother, you know what I'm saying, at his expense so you can profit off of it. All right. So I hope that answered your question, young man. Shout out to you. And was there any more questions? That was it.
But I think that's it as far as questions for right now.
Okay, no sweat. So, and both the questions was great because it gets into the topic about that we're in is like, who do you love? And if you could, get me First John, First John 4. Let me see here, Salakia. First John 4, 20, 21. Right? Who do you love? People always talk about like love, and it's ain't no more love in the world. People don't want to, people aren't getting married no more. It's all sneaky links and one night stands and hookups and you know, you just my friend, my partner. Nobody wants to talk about husbands and wives no more, or even in the on the other side, like the relationships between sisters or like or brothers. Everything in on social media is fall back and do you. You know what I'm saying? You can't trust everybody. You got to look out for yourself and all this. And you know, a lot of times, man, like it's put out to us that love is really like looking out for yourself. You know what I mean? But what Christ knew, what the Most High know is that ain't no love. What's the song Jay had? Ain't no love with he sampled. Ain't no love in the city. Ain't no love in the city. Ain't no love in the field. Ain't no love in these churches. Ain't no love in these what I'm saying, these mosques. Ain't no love in these Hindu temples. Ain't no love in these Buddhist temples. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no love in these so-called fake synagogues. You know what I mean? And ain't no love in your house. Ain't no love. And the question is, who do you love? Is because who do you really love? Who do you actually love? If you thought about it, people say they want love, but who do you love? And how can you want something that like how can you want something that you don't even do? Right? And I'm gonna tell you something else. I'm gonna tell you how you know when it ain't love, because love ain't easy. People are like, oh yeah, if you want to know what if you want to be successful, do the thing that you love because it'll be easy.
Right.
You got to follow your passion and do the thing that you love because it's gonna be easy to you. It'll come like this. Nah, man. I know that Christ loved the nation of Israel. I know that Christ loved the disciples, and I know that Christ loved the Most High. But wasn't nothing about Christ's life easy. And I know he loved the Most High. Everything about his love was difficult, that he had to show was difficult. But you think that love should be easy. Love shouldn't be hard. That's what sister be saying, right? Love shouldn't feel like this. It shouldn't be like this. Love should be easy. It shouldn't be hard. Thou art deceived.
Right.
But if you could, bring that out. And if you got any questions during the course of this, conversation, please do post.
The book of First John, chapter 4, or Salaki, chapter 4, verse 20. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar.
He is a liar. If a man say he loved God and hates his brother, he's a liar. Okay. So John making a statement. If you say you love God and you hate your brother, you're a liar. Okay, keep reading.
For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love God whom he hath not seen?
For he that loves his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love God who he has not seen? What does that mean? I want somebody to tell me what that means in the chat or in the class. What does that mean? Go ahead, sis.
Could you repeat the question one more time?
In order for me to repeat the question, I'm about to read it again. Read that part about whom he hath not seen. Read that again.
For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath not seen, how can he love God whom he hath selected? For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen.
1 second, y'all. You good? Keep reading.
For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love God whom he hath not seen?
See, did you got it? You heard it?
It's the seed part.
So he asking the question that John is asking is how can you say that you love God whom you have not seen? You've never seen God, but you say that you love Him, but how can you say you love God whom you have not seen, but then hate your brother who you see every day? So what's saying is, so what does that mean? Saying, read it again.
For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love God whom he hath not seen?
Right.
So is he basically saying like, how could you say you love God but you not have, or you lack brotherhood?
No, he's saying how. And see if there's any questions in the comments. So he's saying no. He's saying you say that you love God, right? You've never seen God, but you're like, oh, I love the Lord. I love God, right? But you don't love the person that you see every day. So what does that mean? What is John saying? Like how? So he's asking the question like, how is that possible? So what does that mean? You've never seen God, but you love God. You go to church on Sundays for God. You put on a suit for Easter, put on your bright colors because you love God, and you ain't never seen Him. But you don't love the person that you see every day, your brother or sister who you see every day. What does that mean? Any answers?
A couple answers in the chat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Young man D said, when you see your brother, you see the image of God. So if you hate your brother, you really hate God too.
Dang, young man, you getting all deep. You getting deep, man. You're not wrong. You know what I mean? But that's kind of like what you're saying is very true, young man D. But it's also kind of like there's a more simpler way to get into this to what John is trying to get across. Did you have anything you want to speak on that?
So, one more answer.
Okay.
And then since Mariam said, how can you say you love God and hate your brother in the flesh who you see every day?
Yeah, but I'm saying, what does it mean though? You just kind of repeating what the scripture said. You know what I mean? Because, all right, okay. So, do people love things that they've never seen? Like what? What's a good example of that? Go ahead.
Not to say seen, because people
You got a
probably
mic?
seen it, but you obsess over celebrities.
Oh, say that again. You do what?
You obsess over celebrities that
Okay.
you ain't never gonna meet, like for real.
Right. So now get us just a hand because that's exactly where I was going with it. That's how you have fans. Like you got the Beehive for Beyonce, the Barbies for Nicki Minaj, and whoever else. You know, like I watched the video one time where I mean he's a Hamite, but Chameleonaire, I think he's Nigerian, but he was talking about how he was such a fan and how much he loved Michael Jordan. And if I mean, well, not this generation. My brother right here gonna say is it gonna be LeBron? Okay, you love LeBron? It's your dog. Look, he says my dog. Hey, you met LeBron? Nope, ain't never met him. And that's heavy. He got love for somebody that's his dog who he ain't never met. Right? So look at it in that way. Not seeing necessarily with the physical eye, but seeing in terms of like I've been around him, I spent time with him, right? That's why I said earlier we was talking about the whole courtship thing that they say that distance creates fondness, but familiarity breeds contempt. With meaning that when you're around somebody and close to somebody, it's hard to love somebody that you see every day. Yeah. It's hard to do that, right? But now celebrities, I heard Chameleonaire say he was like, man, I love Jordan, man. Jordan was my, you know what I mean? I love him. He's my hero. And then he said he met him, and he said he was so disappointed. Why? He went to him and asked for an autograph, and Jordan was like, nah, I don't be signing autographs for no rappers, right? He blew him off. So now what made Chameleonaire feel how he felt? Go ahead.
Sometimes we be glorifying them in our minds, making up, just off of the shit that we see, that acting on TV, you know, X, Y, the shit they be portraying, the facade they putting on for entertainment purposes.
Okay.
You know, we glorify them in our minds, and then we get let down when they not everything that we thought they were.
Right. Well, I don't even want to say that Jordan put on a facade. I think he was an athlete. He played sports. He had a way that he went about doing things, right? So really, then what was Chameleonaire or what are you really in love with? when it comes, or not in love, I mean, I say like that, Salakia. What do you really love then? Is it really that you love LeBron? Like, what do people actually love then? Is it the person or is it the what? I almost gave it away when I said that, huh? Go ahead.
The energy that they put into something that you're interested in.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. You're talking about as far as like you respect like the athleticism and the passion in which they play and stuff. But is that worthy of love? Okay, so check this out. This is what I'm gonna say. What people, I'm just gonna go ahead and answer, unless there's something in the chat. I'm gonna say it like this: what people love is their imaginations, their own imaginations. That's what people love, and this is why pornography is so popular. Why Instagram models are so popular. OnlyFans are so popular because it's easy to love something that you ain't got to live with. It's easy. When you ain't got to deal with something, then it's easy to love it, right? Because you're loving it where? In your imagination. And then as soon as you're done imagining, you just shut it off and get back to your business. There's no responsibility. There's no accountability. You ain't got to wake up to it every day. He's just a Jordan, or LeBron's just an image on a poster. You watch the game, and then when the game is over, click. Right? You can enjoy the game because you've seen all the highlights. Then LeBron doing his thing. Click, then it's off. Right? Go ahead, sis.
Salakia for this, but that's kind of, I heard from a sister in the world. That's why she said she hated the fact that her man had air quotes side bitches. Salakia, because she's like, okay, they don't take care of him. They don't cook, clean, and raise his kids and do X, Y, Z, but they reap the benefits as in, you know.
What? What's the benefit?
Do I got it? Okay.
Oh, you mean the benefit of
Rod and then attention. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Attention. So the benefit is attention?
Not having to deal with what she had to deal with to take care of her man, right?
Well, she's assuming things. She's not there with them and when they spend time with each other. So she doesn't really know what benefits she's getting or what she's providing for that brother. It's really just an assumption. She's imagining what's going on. And people are in love with their imaginations. And when I say in love, I don't even mean real love. You're committed to something that's just in your head. You know what I'm saying? And just because you feel something or something's in your head doesn't make it a fact. You understand? And so this is what John is trying to say. John is saying, how can you say that you love God whom you don't see, but hate your brother who you do see every day? It just means because you're a liar. You're a liar and you're a hypocrite. You understand? And to young man D, yes, man is made in the image of God, but the image is not talking about a physical image. You know what I'm saying? But I won't get into that right now. But maybe later down the line, I'll break what that means down. We're not the image of God because we physically look like God. The image of God is not a physical image; it's a spiritual image. I say practically, it just means that we have the ability to comprehend His laws. He gave us the mind to be able to understand the laws that he laid down for us to live by, that we can comprehend those laws. A lion and a dog can't comprehend thou shalt not eat pork or thou shalt not eat crab, shrimp, and lobster. You put that down before a pig or a dog, they're going to eat it. They're not going to say, is this wrong for me to eat this?
Right.
Should I not eat this? Right? You can't tell a lion, hey, lion, don't kill. You can shoot a lion. You can hit him with an electrical shock, and he'd be like, what the hell going on? He'll stop, but not because he understands that he shouldn't do it. The ability for you to comprehend what the Lord says, that you're not supposed to go lay with the woman of another nation, you understand what that means. So that's the image of God that's inside of you. That's talking about. Right? You know what I mean? You have the ability to think and reason and tell yourself, no, I'm not going to do that. Animals operate off of instinct, not reason. You understand? Yeah, go ahead, Priest.
In the chat, he said, what you was just breaking down, he said, that's the breath of life.
The breath of life is the law, statutes, and commandments. That's what the Lord gave Adam when it says that he gave him the breath of life, and that's in Ezekiel, what is that?
38.
38 or 37, I think. 37, yeah. So yes, you're correct, young man. That breath of life is the law, statutes, and commandments. It's now I'll put it to you like this: He gave every human the ability to be able to comprehend it, but He didn't give it to every human. He only gave it to Adam, and Adam is the forefather of everybody. But the Lord chose a people that came from Adam, directly from Adam, as His chosen people, which are the Israelites.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yes, the breath of life, because listen, I mean, think about it. If the breath of life meant everybody could just breathe oxygen, then why say it about Adam in particular? There were people walking around when Adam was here. They're walking around breathing. So the breath of life was not talking about oxygen, it's talking about the knowledge of God. Okay? So the image of God is the ability to comprehend, because I'm gonna tell you something. When Christ comes back and we have our kingdom, the other nations are going to understand how to keep the laws. They will have the ability to keep the laws, or be, or as it say in Isaiah 60, or be wasted and perish and put to death, or unalive. Okay, so they'll be able to comprehend how to keep these laws, but it was never given to them. It was only given to us, and you can read that. I'm sure if you're doing your studying, you can read that in Psalms 147. What's that? 19 and 20. You understand that He gave His laws unto. He gave His laws, or His what is it? His statutes. Oh, His laws unto Jacob and His statutes unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any other nation. So you're correct. The breath of life was given to us, or to Adam. He was the first one in the truth. You know what I mean? And Eve was the second one in the truth. His rib. All right. Yeah, but who do you love? I'm gonna be honest, man. As we go through this class, we're gonna really find out who you actually love. So yeah, it's easy to deal with somebody it's easy to love somebody that you ain't got to deal with. The reason why the Lord is saying that you're a liar and you don't mean what you say about your love is because the people that you deal with, you hate. The people that you love, you don't ever deal with. Right. That's why it's easy to say that you love God and you ain't never got to see Him or deal with Him. You think that you've been dealing with God because you've really been dealing with your imagination. You've been dealing with what's in your head. Because, and you know how we know Christians listen, Christians say they love God, but do nothing that God says to do.
Right.
You understand? So so the Lord is like, you can't even deal with your brother, and you see him all the time. You ain't got no love in you. You know what I'm saying? In fact, before we finish this off, let me get that Matthew 22 and 37. In fact, he got his mic. You get that out and read that for me. Matthew 22 and 37. You know what I'm saying? You say you want love, but you're using it as a power play. It's a power struggle. When the Lord said the love of God is to keep His commandments. So like for instance, like in a marriage, right? A sister would say, I just want my man to love me. No, you don't. Because if you wanted him to love you, then you would be of a broken and contrite spirit. But really, you keep a record of wrongs, and then you try to assert power and dictate because it's not going how you want it to go. That ain't got nothing to do with love. And like General Muhammad says, love means to suffer.
Right.
It's to suffer. You know what I'm saying? I give y'all an example. And really, it's not me suffering. I suffer in a sense because it's my children. But I have 3 children that are autistic. You know what I'm saying? Really, I have 4 children that are autistic. But one of my children, they go through a lot, like in terms of like I don't want to use the word torment, but it might as well be that. But just going through fits of like where just screaming for hours and hours and hours, and I have to, and this like y'all probably know what a banshee is. I shouldn't even be saying that, but it doesn't matter. But the screams are just high pitched and it's just like shrieks for hours. I mean, like 4 to 5 hours. Sometimes I'll be up at night with my daughter, man, and she's just not able to rest or have peace. And I have to sit up with her, and I got to work the next morning and stuff, man. And she's just going through this fit, and she's a child. She can't really control what she doesn't understand what she's dealing with. And to be honest with you, I don't even understand it. You understand? But because she's my daughter, she's suffering. I have to suffer with her. Wouldn't I like to get some good sleep and be able to get up in the morning refreshed and go to my job and do what I got to do and
Right.
But it is what it is. You know what I mean? And the crazy part is that we'll do that for kids because we feel like what kids are innocent. Oh, it's not. Oh, that should be easy. You're a dad. You should deal. I mean, it ain't easy.
Right.
Every night dealing with that. It's not easy dealing with that every day. But people will do it for kids because they feel like it's easy to do that for kids. And some people are so callous and wicked they don't even do that for children.
Right.
But you won't do it for the person that's cognizant, that's of age. Your husband makes an error. Your husband offends you, and you holding it against them. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to forgive and really try to be. I don't want to use the word bigger person, but be the person that wants to make peace. You understand? You got to do it with the you got to try to have an attitude or hold it over somebody's head. You don't. Who do you love? You don't love anybody. And you think, and let me tell you this: just because you treat somebody else with what you think love is, doesn't mean that you have love. Because I'm gonna say it again. A lot of times, and this goes both ways, and ain't just for sisters, it's brothers too. A lot of times, people, what they do in the school, they think that validates them as who they are in terms of their love. Like because you come to the school and you do your duties, or you show love to people in the school, or if it's a sister, maybe you cook a lot of meals and stuff, right? And you do that. But then or a brother, he come in and he do shamar and do class. But then you go home and you be a monster to your to your children. Or as a sister, you be a monster to your husband, or don't communicate. Have an attitude. But in the school, you all smiles and serving plates and stuff. That don't mean that you're a good person, that you have love. It's who do you love? Right. The reason why it's easy for you to do that, and it ain't easy for everybody, because some people come to the school acting crazy, right? But it's easy because you don't have to go home and live with them. You see them for that time that you're at the school, and then you leave. The people that you have and you do have a commitment to the school, to the people in the school. But if you're in a marriage, that's a bond for life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you this question. How come people, what makes a person stop dealing with somebody? Because in social media right now, what does everybody say? Hey, man, you got to do you. If somebody's, what they say? If they paint you a picture, you know what I'm saying? Don't change the color. You know what I'm saying? Leave the art gallery. You know what I mean? Like cut them off, right? Right? But what makes a person stop dealing with somebody? Go ahead.
It's like what I've noticed personally in the world, as I'm speaking of, is influenced by their homegirls. They're influenced by social media, or posts on Facebook. Oh, if he ain't doing this, then
let me ask you directly, sis. Have you ever left a man in a relationship? Say, I'm done with this. I'm leaving you. What made you do it? What made you leave him? And you know what's so heavy? If I ask you what made you get with him, you see how fast them cheeks smile came out? You can remember why you got with him, but okay.
I can remember why I left him.
You
I can remember why I left him.
Well, don't easy. Now, okay, so let's keep it in practical terms. Did you leave him because of how he dealt with you?
I don't think I said yes.
Of the way that he treated you or dealt with you? Is that why you left? Isn't that why most people leave?
You can say that, yeah.
Most people leave because of how a person deals with them, right? Now we say we love God, right? Now, what if God dealt with you in a way that you don't like? You gonna stop loving God? You gonna leave God?
It's like I see what you're saying, but my situation is a little different.
I'm gonna be real with you. That's why it's not a lot of people in the ISUPK. And see, that's how we know what you Christians. That's how we know you don't you see. It's the thing, right? Y'all say that God loves everybody, right? We know that's a lie because you don't even love everybody. How can God? You say you love God and God loves everybody, but you don't even love everybody. So we know that God don't love everybody because God ain't dealing with everybody. Right. And who God is dealing with, he loves. Because that's why we go through the hell that we go through, because he loves us. Because he's dealing with us. But God ain't dealing with everybody. And you're not even dealing with everybody. You get offended at your church and you go and say, I'm about to go find me another church. Yeah, I don't like that choir director. She ain't let me sing my song, or she don't sing the song right. And you out the door. You know what I'm saying? Anything. Oh, you know what? The first lady, she thinks she all that with her little big hats and all that, talking trash. And I know she's sleeping with the deacon. All right. Y'all will go and find another church according to what you prefer, what you like. You don't have any love. Because see, I'm gonna tell you something. We have offended the Most High God. That's why we say the Lord's Prayer, forgive us as we forgive our debtors. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Because in order for the Lord to forgive you, you got to forgive others. If you want God to still deal with you, you better deal with the people that you don't want to deal with. You better find a way, because all He gonna do is bring up you. See, people be just talking, oh, I messed up, I committed a sin. The Lord be like, all right, I mean, I'll let it go if you stop. But really, what's going to prevent you from getting to the kingdom is your inability to deal with your brother and your sister. Your inability to forgive and let it go. But then when you go before the Most High, you want Him to let it go. You want Him to forget that, that you're a piece of trash, that you're a disgusting bastard, that you're a horrible sister, a horrible mother, a horrible daughter, a horrible friend. That's why I say, if God started dealing with you in a manner that you don't like, if God started letting you know you're really not all of that, you're really not all that. See, we love God because in our head it's like, God with me, He know my heart. He know I'm really like this. Nah, what the scripture say? What's that scripture? Jeremiah, what's that, 17? Yeah, God know your heart, all right. We gonna read it. He know your heart. He know your heart. But see, you don't know you. You don't know you. And the things that you know about yourself, you cover it up and you justify it. And you feel like God look at my good side. He'll ignore that the other part of me. Do you do that? Do you ignore the bad in somebody and only focus on the good? Do you do that? No. The moment somebody shows you something that you don't like, you like, man, I'm done with that. I ain't got to deal with that. Well, guess what? The Lord ain't got to deal with you either. And He gonna judge you according to how you judge your brother and sister. Go ahead, sis.
So what would have been the right thing to do then if we're speaking on a situation? I'm not gonna go into detail.
Yeah, we can't get into the specifics. You're talking about general right now, but go ahead. Go ahead.
But this is very common, especially in our nation. So my thing gonna be domestic violence. Like, so how would you go? Was I supposed to fight for that? Like, if there's safety involved, like,
everybody should be safe and protected. Okay, but incidents do occur, and a lot. I mean, like I say, stuff got to get judged. What I would say is that whatever the situation was, I mean, you have to keep yourself safe. Everybody has the right to protect themselves and to be safe. But like I saw a video the other day where a brother was in child support court or child court with his woman or his ex-woman, and she was going there to have the judge to give him her full custody because she said that he assaulted her. And she was like, what should I have done? In the situation. But then he had a video on it, and he played the video for the judge. And she was breaking the windows and had a golf club and was going in his house, hitting them in front of their children. You know what I'm saying? And then he showed text where she was like, I'm your worst enemy, and I'm gonna make your life a living hell. But in front of the judge, she was like, what should I have done? He choked slammed me to the ground. But he had video of her doing the violence towards him.
right.
So just because I hear a woman say, I was in this domestic violence, well, hey, sisters commit domestic violence too. It don't just, in this society, they make it as if the women are just innocent. And I'm gonna be real with you. Let it never be spoken of a daughter of Commander General Yohana, but blacks, Hispanic, and any women can get down. They know how to grab hot grease in the skillet. And grab the knife out the knife holder, or when a brother's sleeping. Oh God, you ever been woke up by a blow to the head while you sleep because she didn't went through your phone? So domestic violence ain't a one-way street. Okay, so what I would say is you need to get counsel. You know what I'm saying? And like Kat say, people talk about abuse, and I guess at any point They'll say it's emotional abuse or verbal abuse, right? Something that you don't like. I don't like how you dealing with me. That's abuse. You can label anything to be abuse. Or I heard people say, "Oh, he's inciting violence with his word." They say your words can be violent, right? Well, what is domestic violence? Is domestic violence you talking crazy to each other in front of the kids? Are you committing violence against the children when they hear you arguing? Is that violence? Letting the kids see you and mama fight or yell at each other? Is that violence? Everybody's selfish. It's all about them, right? I was in this situation and this happened to me. But what about the other person? That's why in judgment, in counsel, both sides have to be heard. So I would say, I wouldn't dwell on what happened before because you're here now and you're in here, I'm assuming, because you want to become a new creature. And what the things that were from before, we forget those things and move forward and move towards the high calling that's in Christ. You know what I'm saying? Which means that we learn how to deal with each other in a way that is respectful of the dignity of our King dying for us, for our sakes. When we were yelling, crucify him. And what did he say? What should he have done? When his own people, right, is when Caesar's like, hey man, I find no fault in this brother. This brother's an excellent brother. Right. The devil's a liar, though. He don't mean what he say. But he says an excellent brother. I find no fault. You want me to crucify your king? What they say? We have no, what did we say? Salakia, what did we say? We have no king but Caesar. Crucify him. That's cold-blooded, brother. It's one thing for your man to shoot you. It's another thing for him to go to the police and say, he over there, y'all get him. Good night. That's what we did to our king. Y'all get him. And while he up there, they're like, yo, ain't you the son of God? If you the son of God, you saved others, you can't save yourself. Come down from off that cross. What should have Christ done in that situation, in that domestic violence? What should he have done? You got an answer? Should he have left us? Oh, these niggas is crazy. I ain't finna die for these Negroes. Is that what he should have done? Okay, so that's the point. Am I saying that people should be harmed, suffer physical harm, and suffer that and endure that? No. But what people should do is seek counsel before they make any kind of decision. Because a lot of the times when we find ourselves in those types of situations and relationships, it's because we haven't gotten counsel on we make decisions according to what we like and our preferences, but that doesn't make it a wise decision. You understand? And that doesn't negate the commandment that the Lord gave us to love one another. You got that Matthew 22:37? Go ahead and bring that out, all right? Nothing in the chat?
No, nothing in the chat.
Book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 37.
Uh-huh.
Jesus said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart.
Read one verse above that.
Master, which is great, commanded in the law.
This man comes to Christ and says, what's the greatest commandment in the law? Go ahead.
Jesus said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart.
He said you should love the Lord your God with all your heart. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And with all their soul.
Mm-hmm.
And with all their mind.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first and great commandment.
Okay. Keep going.
And the second is like unto it.
He said the second is like unto it, that you should love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, right? And the second is likened unto it. Read.
Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Read that again.
Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
So if you hate your neighbor, and we're going to read who our neighbor is, because there's confusion with that too. People think that your neighbor is a person that lives in the house next to you. But if you don't love your neighbor, then who do you not love really? What you say, say it to the mic.
Yourself.
So say that again.
Yourself.
Get that brother a hand. Who do you love? You want to know what the answer is? Who do you love? Nobody. 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 You don't love nobody. You don't even love you. And the proof of that is because you don't love your brother or your sister. You can't love yourself and not love your brother and your sister. People think that People think loving themselves is separating themselves from other people. I got to do some self-love. You don't love yourself. People think self-love is taking, bubble baths and going to a massage and in a sauna and getting, going out for some Nobu or whatever, I guess, some sushi and going to a restaurant or taking yourself out on a date with yourself. That's what these sisters be doing now. I didn't got that bad. You got to date yourself. What does that even mean? Date yourself. What is that even talking about? Is brothers dating themselves? Is brothers doing that too now? They dating themselves?
No.
You sure? I'm sure some brothers out there dating themselves. I'm gonna go ahead and have a nice evening and dinner with myself and just enjoy a meal and a conversation with myself. It's getting bad out there, y'all. It's getting bad. You know what I'm saying? If you could just lock the door behind the sister. You know what I mean? It's getting bad out there, man. Sisters having to date themselves. You know what I mean? And you see what we're doing? We're trying to create coping mechanisms because we don't want to deal with what Christ said, our King said, what the Most High said, which is really us dealing with each other. That's what love is, man. Love is a commitment. Love is having an issue with somebody and learning conflict resolution, man. You know what I mean? In order to gain our brother or our sister back. No, you can't love the Most High if, claim that you love him and you hate your brother who you see every day. You can't. You can't. Because the Lord knows that the only reason why you say you love him is because you ain't got to deal with him. And he knows you don't deal with him because you don't. Let me ask you a question. We don't see God, the Most High God, but how do we know that we deal with God? Based off of doing what? Somebody give me an answer in the chat. How do we know? How can we tell if somebody loves God? It's only by two things, right? We're dealing with one of them. You have to love your brother, right? What's the other thing?
Follow his law.
Follow his laws. And that's how we know, even though you don't see, that's why God knows. You don't even love your brother, but you really don't love me because you love me according to your imagination. In your head, what do they say? God ain't worried about you not eating no pork. That's a small thing. It's bigger things God is worried about. Ain't your parents ever tell you if you can't do the little thing, how you gonna do the big thing? If you can't keep the pork chop out your mouth and the crab leg out your mouth, how you gonna deal with not committing adultery on your husband and honoring your husband? How you gonna learn how to when your wife ain't following your every single command, still have patience and you know what I'm saying, and and correct her? Because I'm gonna be real with you. Y'all think sisters be thinking that us correcting them is an easy thing for us. Like we enjoy it. Nah, we be like, man, in the world we ain't gonna deal with all that. We gonna be like, man, I'm done with you. We gonna throw you away. That's why these men are so weak out here. They be like, oh, these sisters ain't doing this, they doing that. You know why? Because they don't want to stay with that sister and correct her and check her. Because even checking a sister, correcting a sister is love. It's love. But in the world, what we do, the moment you gave us a little bit of lip, a little bit of mouth, all we gonna do is just smash and pass. We come through 2 in the morning, you know what I'm saying? And then we out. But as far as listening to your problems and what you're dealing with and being there for you and trying to hold you down and deal with your issues, we're not finna do all that. In the world, we finna leave you. So in the truth, counseling our sisters, our ribs, and correcting them, that's the love of God. That's the love of God. Because if you want to deal with it from the standpoint of brothers in the school, if a brother is doing something that can endanger him and endanger other brothers in the school, and you don't say nothing to that brother, you don't correct him or check him, you don't got love for that brother. It's the same thing. Because in the world, what do we do? If a brother's moving funny or acting weird, we be like, man, I ain't gonna say nothing to that brother. I guess he gonna find out on his own, right? How is that love? You know there's a pit with spikes in it and there's some grass over the pit and that brother walking towards it and he always got all the mouth. He think he know everything. You might, well, I guess he about to find out, huh? Right? But you just as evil as the person that put the spikes in the pit because you ain't said nothing to him because you don't got no love. So correction is love. It's love because really, Commander Johnny Hunter ain't have to hold it down. He had to hold his truth down and correct God's people. When the school broke apart and everybody started breaking off and doing their own thing, Commander Johnny Hanna could be like, you know what? Everybody doing their own thing. Forget it. I'm gonna keep the laws. I'm just gonna keep God's laws by myself. Like how these fake Israelites be saying. I'll keep the laws with me and my woman in the house, and it'll just be me. And when Christ come back, he'll save me. Nah, man. Commander Johnny Hanna had brotherhood. He said, I'm going to hold this truth down in the way that it was given to me and pass it on to faithful men and teach them to do the same thing, to correct God's people. But giving correction is love, and taking correction is love. Taking the checking, that's love. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's love. Salakia. Go ahead. Is there any more in that scripture? Is some more in there? Was that it?
I read down to 39.
Okay. Was you holding anything for me out?
I did have on a point you made earlier.
Go ahead,
17.
yeah. Go ahead. Oh yeah.
You want that?
Yeah, because a lot of people be feeling like God know their heart. Like really, what you're saying is you've committed yourself and judged yourself as I know I do this, that, and the third, but really I'm a good person. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times Christianity put that in your head that you're a good person. That's why when Christ said what he said, that young man came up to Christ and was like, "Oh, good master, good master." And Christ turned around, looked at him, and was like, "Yo, why you calling me good?" Right? And once again, this brother is looking at Christ from afar. Right. He's seen all the works that he's doing. He's like, "Yo, good master, good master." Christ's like, "Why you calling me good? It's none good but God." Christ didn't even make himself the standard. So, but a lot of us in our heads, we feel like, okay, yeah, I've done this and the third, but I'm really a good person. Nah, man. But Christ would say it's none good but God. You should be thinking the same thing. The only good one is the Lord. He's good. We're trying to learn how to be good. And the first lesson in learning how to be good is brotherhood. It's brotherhood, man. You have to learn to love your brother. Go ahead and bring that up.
We call it the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked.
That's the is there a verse about that? What did it say? Just go ahead and read anyway.
Verse 8, for he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, but of her leaf shall be green. That sounds like a man that trusts in the Most High, that's keeping God's laws, that's showing brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, whatever his growth in the truth is gonna be, he's gonna have strong growth. He's gonna have strength because he relies, because a tree ain't by itself. A tree got roots, got branches. That's talking about a family. That's why you have the term family tree. The nation of Israel, when the Lord was speaking to Israel, he said, "You're the only family that I've known." Right.
The Lord look at us as a family. We're brothers and sisters. You understand? And you build a strong family by being strong in brotherhood. A branch that falls away from the tree, it's no longer connected to the tree anymore. You get the strength from all the sap that grows within the tree. So I can't bear fruit unless I'm connected to my brother. We bear fruit, or we have good works, and we get stronger because we rely on each other. America and the Christian church try to teach you that you could be strong by yourself. That's a lie. A lone wolf is going to die faster than the wolf pack,
right? Because
the wolf pack is moving as a unit. You understand? And a strong tree has many branches and a strong base and strong roots. That's why Commander Johnny Hanna consistently says to all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, come home, be grafted back into the tree.
Right.
That's what the grafting is. You want to bring other nations into it. The Lord said to love your neighbor as yourself. He didn't say to love everybody. You think your neighbor is everybody. Give me that in the Zondervan's book, the definition in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary of what neighbor means. We're gonna see what Christ said, what Moses said, what the Lord said, what he told Moses, and what Christ repeated that the Lord told Moses about to love your neighbor as yourself. You're supposed to love your neighbor as you love yourself. The way that you want to be treated, the way you want somebody to treat you, that's how you're supposed to treat other people. The love, sisters, the love that you want your man to show you, give the way that you imagine in your mind, since you so in love with your imagination of how you feel like it should go. Because when you take your husband to counsel, or you take or brother, you take your rib to counsel, you want to come complain to General Muhammad about how they should be treating you. When really you should be concentrating on, damn, I want him to treat me like this. I want her to treat me like this. Then you should be saying, you know what? I'm gonna make sure I treat them like this.
Right.
You brothers, you want your rib to listen to you, right? Well, then listen to her. I don't care how asinine and crazy what she's saying is, because it do be asinine and crazy. But a lot of times, it's like how Cap always say, clearing the room out, clearing the air out. You got to get the mess that's inside of you out to have some clarity sometimes. People, you got to let people get it all out, and then you address it. You can address it once they get it out. You can ask them questions and see. So because now that what's in their head is out of them, they have room to receive something different. Once the cup has been emptied, you can pour something into it. You know what I mean? So you want her to listen, then you got to listen. You know what I'm saying? Sis, you want him to treat you a certain kind of a way? Well, then you do it. You treat him a certain kind of way and do it with affection and kindness, not with trying to be a dictator. This is how it's going to go. This is how I'm going to do this. A man don't want to hear that kind of energy from especially a man in the truth that know he has authority. He ain't trying to hear you talking to him any old kind of way, dictator, demanding or saying what you ain't going to do or how it's going to go. Don't nobody respect that as a man, not a real man. I'm sorry, go ahead. What's the definition of a neighbor?
In the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, the definition of neighbor. In the Old Testament, neighbor meant one who lives nearby a fellow Israelite.
Oh, what?
A fellow Israelite.
Oh, what?
A fellow Israelite.
According to the scriptures, according to God, biblically, a neighbor is a fellow Israelite. You understand? Not somebody that lives in the house next to you. It's a fellow Israelite, man. So for you to love yourself, you have to love your fellow Israelites. You want to go love another nation. You know what I'm saying? That's what Diddy did. That's what Meek Mill did. Went to go and Little Baby on the all-white yacht party with these weird Caucasians, putting them in sandwiches, wearing pants with the pants cheeks out, letting the man wearing pants with his cheeks out hugging on you. Y'all saw that video with Meek Mill where he lost the tennis match and that Caucasian had him doing the bunny hop? Now, what if a brother on the corner was like, "Hey, Meek Mill, we was casting lots, throwing dice. You lost, man. You can keep your money, but you got to bunny hop 100 times." You know what Meek would have done? Pulled that pistol out. That's what Meek would have done. But because some Caucasians did it, who he feels like he's safe around, when really you're the most unsafe around them.
Right.
How do I know? You can look at Diddy right now. Diddy was of his father, the devil. He thought he could be neighbors and be neighborly with them and learn from them. And that's why he harmed his brothers and sisters. He used his power and abused it because he learned from our oppressor. That's why the Lord says, "And be not thou the oppressor, and choose none of his ways." But that's what we do. We learn from the oppressor and we come home and take it out on our family. Our carnal family and our spiritual family. Fellow Israelites. Captain Tazariak had brought out a story about the sister that I believe she's still alive. She's way older now. But back in the 60s during the civil rights movement, when they were first integrating the schools in the South, some black families, because they want to be part of the movement, they would force their kids to go to white schools. And the torment and the suffering that this one particular, and I'm sure they all went through it, but this one particular sister went through, she would suffer all this abuse from the oppressor's children in those schools, and then she would come home and take it out on her siblings by being mean to them, beating on her little brother. She said that had she not had to go to that school, she probably would have treated her brother better. Because we learn abuse from the oppressor, and then we go and abuse our own people. We bring it home. But the Lord is teaching us to do what? Not to abuse our people, but to love our people.
Right.
You understand? To suffer wrongs, to be patient. As a matter of fact, give me that 1 Corinthians 13. Christ suffered for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? And we say we love Christ. Everybody talk about how they love Jesus, but don't nobody want to go through what Christ went through. But Peter said, Christ suffered. And arm yourself with this mindset. So you really want to say you want to love God and say that you're godly, then you're gonna have to love the people that you feel like aren't lovable. But they are lovable because the Lord gave us a way to do it. He gave us the instructions and the blueprint on how to do it. So who do you love? Nobody. But if you want to learn how to love, come into the ISUPK on the Command General, man.
Right.
Come to class, man, and you can learn how to love. Come sit in class in Brotherhood class and learn these scriptures. Learn how to be a brother. Learn how to be a real sister. Learn how to be a husband. Learn how to be a wife. Get counsel.
Right.
Listen, Imagine Johanna has counselors. Whatever camp leader or captain is in your zone, trust me, they know how to give excellent counsel. For you to do what? To love. You got that? 1 Corinthians 13?
From the top of verse 4.
From the top, it's fine.
Okay. The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels.
Right. When it says when I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, that could apply to it apply to all of us, but it applies to a priest caucasi. Priest caucasi is the at least in our zone, he's over the Lashawan Kodash class. So he speaks in the tongues of men and angels, meaning what? The Hebrew is the tongue of angels. This is the language that was given to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So we speak in the tongues of men, which means some of us speak Spanish, some of us speak English, but the tongue of our culture is the tongue of angels. So he says, though Caucasi can speak in the English and speak in the Hebrew, go ahead.
And have not charity.
And don't have brotherhood.
I am become as a sounding brass.
Right. He can say the Lord's Prayer all day in the Hebrew, right? And can talk in English. Like, hey, shalom, you know what I mean? What's going on, brother? Peace, brother, right? But if he ain't got no brotherhood, it's like in church when they just hitting the cymbal. Right. Ding, 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 ding. It's like, all right, man, god dang. It making noise,
right? But
it ain't got no sound that you can relate to. Go ahead, keep reading.
Or a tinkling cymbal.
A tinkling cymbal. Go ahead. That's for them purple people. You saw that video with them brothers coming out in the purple robes and the sisters coming out behind them?
Wow.
It was in the church. That's for them purple people, the tinkling cymbals. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith.
Right. Like, because you know what Ezekiel 38 means, the breakdown of Ezekiel 38 or Joel 3. You can break down the prophecies of the end times and what the signs of the times are and what's taking place in, Christ coming back and, the destruction of America, right? And you understand the mysteries of the scriptures and you can break down the scriptures to the people who don't know the Bible like that. Go ahead.
So that I could remove mountains.
Right, and got faith to where you can take down local governments, city governments, and change the laws in a city. That's what removing mountains means. Mountains represent governments. That you can take down governments with your faith in the Most High and following God. You know how to argue down presidents and senators and cut them at camp. Right? Go ahead.
And have not charity.
Ain't got no brotherhood.
I am nothing.
You're not nothing. You're not nothing. Rank don't mean you're something. Having rank. Christ had all the rank. But you know what Christ had the most? You know what Christ really had? All the brotherhood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Verse 3. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor.
Right, I give all my money away, all my clothes away to the poor. Right in front of everybody. You're like, dang, that brother, man. That's a real brother. He done gave away all his polo. That Ralph Lauren purple label. It ain't even been worn yet. He gave it to the homeless. He gotta be real. Go ahead.
And though I give my body to be burned.
Dang. You saw that when that white boy was protesting for Palestine?
Right.
And went in front of that base and poured the gasoline on himself and set himself on fire, gave his body to be burned. You do such a sacrificial act. Go ahead.
And have not charity, it profiteth me nothing.
Right. You go and set yourself on fire because you want to protest one of our fallen Israelites, like George Floyd or James Byrd or Ahmaud Arbery. But you ain't got no, you do that as an act in front of everybody, but it don't profit you nothing because why? You ain't got no brotherhood. Yeah, Christ died for us, but Christ also lived for us.
Right.
He lived. He gave us an example to follow. He lived in a way to show us, because I'm going to be real with you. You couldn't understand the Bible without Christ. You could read it, see all the rules, see everything that happened. But if Christ never came, we would not know how to serve the Most High. Christ is the only example that we have of what God actually wants from us. You understand? He's the only one. We couldn't understand the laws of God without Christ. Because Christ didn't come at us with the letter of the law. He came at us with what? The spirit of the law. And without understanding the spirit, you can't understand the law. Period. And we know that because what were the Pharisees doing? They were using the law to hurt people.
Right.
When the law was there to keep us safe, to protect us. And you can't keep anybody safe or protect anybody or be kept safe or be protected if you ain't got brotherhood, sisterhood. And when I say sisterhood, I'm really talking about how a sister treat a brother. Sisters be talking about sisters how they treat each other. That's cool, but it's really how you treat a brother. You know what I'm saying? Like when Elijah came to that widow's house, and she was like, I only got enough meal to make one more cake and enough oil, and we're going to eat this, me and my son, and we're going to die. So she's basically saying, I got one more bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch that me and my son going to share, and then we're going to die. The wick then ran out. The food stamps is gone. And a man of the Lord, a camp leader, or a brother, a priest, and prophet, ISUPK come to the house and say, hey, look, pour me that bowl of cereal first. Give me that last pancake. Give it to me. Make me that last pancake. And she like, think about the sisterhood she got to have to be like, all right, okay. Knowing her baby, what's this to say nowadays? I'm feeding my kids first. I ain't feeding no man first. I'm feeding my babies come first. That brother's, and this wasn't even his woman. He was like, look, hey, fix me that cake first. Sisterhood. And then she gave him the cake, made him the cake, he ate it, and the oil didn't run out. The flour didn't run out. And as long as he was there, she had food in her pantries. You know what she went and did? Went upstairs, made a room just for him to stay there. He didn't have a job. His job was being a prophet, working for the Lord. He had no job. He wasn't bringing no money to that house. And she set up a whole room for him to stay there comfortably and cook for him every night. That wasn't even her man. Sisterhood. Sisterhood. Now, she treated a prophet like that. It wasn't even her husband. Now, sis, your husband who you lay with, who you become one flesh with, how you supposed to treat him? Good night. Salaki. Keep reading.
Gonna come verse 4. Charity suffereth long.
Charity suffers long. We don't want to suffer. We just want to feel good. We just want things our way. We want things according to our imagination. But our imagination is wicked. Why is it wicked? Because we're selfish. All we can think about is our lust and what pleases us, not the benefit of somebody else. And when you live for the benefit of others, you're going to suffer. That's why Christ would say all the time, how long must I suffer with you? When you're trying to build other people up, you're going to suffer. Why? Because Their pain is your pain. Their mistakes are your mistakes because why? That's just one body. Everybody, we're all going to suffer if we claim to love each other. Everybody doesn't know everything, so people are going to make mistakes. But what, do you cut off your commitment to that person because they make an error? You're going to suffer if you love somebody because you're going to take their ignorance and eat it. Like, all right, man, he did some crazy shit, but that's my brother though, man. I mean, I'm gonna check him. I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna take him to counsel. I'm gonna take my sister to counsel. I'm gonna take my rib to counsel. I'm gonna take my husband to counsel. But we in this until the wheels fall off.
Right.
You know what I mean? Keep reading, Art. About the show.
And it's kind.
Kind. You know what I mean? Love is kind. Go ahead.
Charity envieth not.
Mm-hmm.
Charity vaunteth not itself.
Right. Charity don't envy. Envy is when you desire to have what somebody else has. You understand? Or you're mad about what somebody else has. Brotherhood don't do that. Brotherhood rejoices in someone else's success. When somebody has a good thing happen to them, it's like you rejoice about it, like as if it happened to you. Right. Because what you want for yourself, you should want for your brother or your sister. And that word vaunt means to put yourself forward. Brotherhood, you don't put yourself in front of another brother like talking about yourself. The scriptures say, let another man's lips praise you, not your own. You shouldn't be like touting your own achievements and whatnot, right? Putting yourself forward. Let someone else speak on your behalf about what you've done, not you. But you can tell a brother ain't got no brotherhood if he's trying to put himself in the forefront, in front of everything, and make himself be seen. You know, he ain't got no brotherhood because in every opportunity where you should, because let me tell you something. Let me tell you what respect means. Respect means to look back again. If you're looking back, that's to the person that's behind you, right? That's the person that's under you. You're supposed to have respect for the men that are under you and above you. Just because when you're over somebody, you have rank over somebody, it's your, including this is husbands and wives. You're supposed to care for them in a way to where you're looking out for their benefit to build them up. It's having respect. It's looking back. Like, you good? You all right? Like if you was walking, traveling a long way, I'm sure like young man, you've been up in the military when y'all doing like what they call them, hikes or walk, like, what they call them, the walks, like when you have like the sacks on you, walking for like a ruck march, right? Don't you got to look back to make sure everybody good? Somebody it could be heat exhaustion. They fall out on the ground. If you just looking forward, ain't looking back, it's like, dang, what happened to old boy? You have to look back,
right?
That's respect. And in this organization, we consider others before we consider ourselves. Keep reading.
It's not puffed up.
It's not puffed up. When you puffed up, you can't see nothing but you. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Does not behave itself unseemly.
Right. It's not rude and disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people can take correction as being rude and disrespectful. But really being rude and disrespectful is not correcting at all. And just, cutting somebody off. I don't mean taking a moment to calm down and taking a break. I'm talking about where you're not communicating at all. Sometimes you need to take that 15-minute breather and revisit the situation, because when it's hot, you don't want to have the conversation when it's hot.
Right.
You don't want to have that type of talk when it's hot. So you got to walk away for a little bit. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about where you going a whole 2 weeks and 3 weeks and not communicating. And I don't mean just text. A lot of y'all be cheating. They think, I texted them. I'm talking about dialogue, conversation. You know what I'm saying? I said shalom to the brother. I said shalom to him. But you got an art, and you ain't went in Matthew 18:15 that brother and had that conversation to gain your brother back. The scriptures say that the contentions between brothers is like iron walls in a castle. Like when you offend a brother, it's like it could be like two strongholds or the iron bars on a castle door. The contentions between two brothers. Somebody got to come up out the drawbridge, and what they hey, so I can kind of holler at you to break that what's what you want to call it, that tension. Keep reading.
seeketh not her own.
Right. If your first thought is how is this going to benefit me, then you don't have no love. Not the love of God. Now I'm not talking to I'm only talking to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. I ain't talking to everybody. I'm talking to our people. You know what I'm saying? This is what our King requires of us. You can't seek your own and serve the Lord. Go ahead.
Is not easily provoked.
Right. Meaning that you're not easily offended. Now, if you're offended, you need to go to that person though. But as you grow in the truth, you'll be able to overlook certain things that brothers say or do. You don't take everything so personal. Not easily offended. Go ahead.
Thinketh no evil.
Right. A lot of times, man, because of the trauma that we went through in past relationships in the world, we have PTSD from relationships.
Right.
And somebody say something to us, and what the person said, they weren't even saying it like how we took it, but because of what we went through in our previous experiences in life, we thinking that they're thinking what the other person was thinking when they said it to us, and how we took it, and we get triggered and we blow up. We're thinking evil, when really you should say, Salakia, Ak, or Salakia, sis, what did you mean by that? What were you trying to say when you said that? Because maybe they didn't mean that. You know what I'm saying? But because we've been traumatized, we'll look at what somebody's saying and just go off. Like, man, they're trying to play with me. They're trying to play with me. They think I'm a playboy. I'm a play toy. I ain't no toy. I ain't to be played with. And we get set off. But brotherhood gives the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? You know, maybe he ain't mean it. Maybe he just joking. But I'm gonna talk to him and see what he meant. Or maybe the sister didn't mean what she said. Let me ask her. Especially with husbands and wives, man. We think so differently. Women are built so different from us. That's why we have to take the time to learn each other. You know, women, you ask a woman what she thinks, she gonna tell you what she feel. You ask a man how he feel, he gonna tell you what he think. That alone lets you know the gap in between us as men and women, and why we have to be patient with each other and take our time with each other, because the way we comprehend information is different. You understand? So it's important that we don't think evil of each other. We have to further inquire and say, well, what did you mean by that? And then if what they say, if they say and explain what they mean and it still offends you, hey, well, I'm offended by that. And then have that conversation. But we have to be willing to talk to each other.
Right.
That's really what I'm talking about here. Love is, yes, it's keeping the commandments, but love is being committed, but love is dealing with the person. And when listen, in order to deal with somebody, you have to have the maturity to communicate, to have that conflict resolution. Keep reading.
Oh God. Verse 6. Rejoiceth not in iniquity.
Right. You're not happy when somebody is caught up in a weakness, or living a certain kind of way. You don't rejoice in somebody living the wrong way. Some people be happy to see you messed up and doing bad and caught up in in a lot of mess. We don't rejoice in iniquity. We don't rejoice in the things that God hates. You know what I'm saying? A brother come up to me and he's in the or a sister come up to and coming to the school, and they new into the school, and they talking about how, I'm finna go get a new tattoo. I ain't gonna be like, oh yeah, for real? Yeah, that's cool. Just to go along to get along. I'm like, hey, Salakia, sis, Salakia, you know the Lord said we can't do that. I ain't gonna be happy with them.
Right.
I'm gonna tell them the truth. Keep reading.
But rejoice in the truth.
Oh, good night. Yeah. Now if they come back and be like, hey man, I love that bacon, but I was at IHOP and I said, nah, give me that turkey sausage. I'm like, good job, brother. Excellent job. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I love getting tatted up. But I really was trying to get that leg wrap. But I ain't gonna do it though. Man, excellent job, all right? Or the sister. I wanted to get just one more on my thigh. You know what I'm saying? It looks so good in a swimsuit. Well, sis, should nobody see you in a swimsuit anyway?
Right.
You right. That's why I ain't do it. Good job, sis. I'm gonna rejoice in the truth. I'm gonna rejoice in a brother or sister responding to God's truth and changing their life.
Right.
I'm gonna be happy about that. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Beareth all things.
Beareth all things. Meaning that when your brother or sister makes an error or mistake, you bear it. Because that's brotherhood, that's love. You don't step on them, you don't smash on them, you tell them the truth, but you don't step on them. Because ultimately, what you're saying is because you want them to be safe and protected. You want them to stay in the Lord's protection. And the only way to do that is to give our brother or sister correction or counsel. Because you're saying it, they might have a certain way of thinking about things, but you're telling them this to give them the opportunity to know the truth and make the decision for themselves. That's it. Keep reading.
Believeth all things.
Believeth all things. Believing all things don't mean believing every religion or believing what anybody tells you. What it means is that you believe all things that the Most High has said about how we're supposed to deal with each other.
Right.
That's what it's talking about. You don't believe what Kevin Samuel say. You know what I'm saying? Tommy Sotomayor say. What's the African brother? Dr. Umar. You know what I'm saying? Or Yaki Awaken. Or what's the brother with the can't think of his name. But all these other brothers that be out here trying to being gurus and everything. You believe all things. You believe what the scriptures say about how we're supposed to deal with each other in our relationships. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Hopeth all things.
Right.
Endureth all things.
Right. Hopeth all things. What does that mean? Hey, man, I heard that brother over here doing this. Well, I hope that ain't true. I heard that sister over here doing this, man. She out here living like this. Well, I hope that's not true. I hope that ain't the case. You don't want to think, you want to think the best of that. I hope they're not doing that. I hope that's not what's going on. And I hope if they are doing that, I hope that they'll be able to take a correction and change and repent from that. I hope. You know what I'm saying? Brotherhood.
Verse 8. Charity never faileth.
Brotherhood don't never fail. Brotherhood in the spirit of Christ can't never fail. You always getting the W. In any situation, in any case. If it's in the spirit of Christ, which is the spirit of brotherhood, you always gonna come out blameless. Go ahead.
But whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Mm-hmm. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish
away. What does that mean? Whether there be prophecies, they shall what?
They shall fail.
What does that mean? Dang, what does that mean? Salakia. I'm about to ask that question when General Muhammad comes down. Or call Captain Yadazak. I'm about to find out about that one because, I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to ask on that. Keep reading.
Whether there be tongues.
Oh, hold on, Salakia. The end of verse 7. It hopes all things. And what else?
Endureth all things.
Love and brotherhood endures. Love endures.
Right.
Endures all things. The sister asked earlier, what about a domestic violence situation? It didn't say it endures some things. It said it endure all things.
Right.
Okay. Now I'm not talking about being a doormat and getting stepped on and abused. I'm talking about enduring all things in the spirit of brotherhood, letting the law of the Most High take its course. You know what I'm saying? There's a process that we go through before we cut ourselves off from somebody. And if you've done all those things, then you're still in brotherhood. You have to endure all things, which means what? Endure the process, endure the conflict resolution.
Right.
And let the Lord make the judgment, not you. You shouldn't be coming to conclusions. Like, I remember about 2 years ago, Captain Yadazak said, you shouldn't, what did he say? You shouldn't come to a conclusion about anything before hearing the matter from the judges. Meaning that you shouldn't have reached the conclusion on any matter before you've heard what the council of the school has to say. Commanding General Yohana, General Mahaiman, the generals, your captain, your camp leader. You shouldn't come to a conclusion about anything until you've heard and gotten wisdom and counsel from the men above you.
Right. So
you shouldn't say, oh, man, I'm about to lead this sister, man. She no good. No, you need to get counsel. Sister, I'm tired of this brother, man. I'm not going to see him. I'm going to do this. If you haven't gotten counsel on that decision that you've made, you're out of the spirit. I don't care how many garments you make. I don't care how many meals you cook. Brother, I don't care how many classes you teach, how many camp speakers you do. If you've made a decision in terms of how you're going to act towards somebody and it's not out with these scriptures or you haven't gotten counsel on it, then you are not in the spirit of Christ.
Right.
Period. We got to measure ourselves by Christ. We have to be conformed to his image. And Young Man D, like how he was talking about, the image of Christ ain't a physical image. It's talking about how Christ yielded himself to to the orders of the Most High, to the point where they called him the Word. He had such a reputation of obeying the Most High, like no one else did, with such zeal and excellence, that the reputation that he had, they called him the Word. He obeyed the Word to the point where he was the Word. When you saw him, you saw the Word of the Most High. That's how well he executed orders. Okay, so we're supposed to conform to that image, that we obey to the level of, I'm not doing anything until I get the judgment of the Lord on it. Go ahead. I think you use that with prophecies, they'll fail. I think he was there.
But whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish.
What does that mean? Whether there be tongues, that they shall cease? Meaning that tongues is talking about different languages. It's not talking about what they do up in the Christian church, that, that Lashonda bought me a Honda, Haribo Samba. You know what I'm saying? All that. That's not tongues. Tongues is when saying, like, where there's tongues, they shall cease, meaning that you can learn these different languages, but eventually you're not going to be able to use them anymore. When we gather our people together, we're all going to come back into our one tongue. So tongues are going to cease, because we'll end up becoming one body, and we won't be Puerto Ricans no more, Cubans no more, Guatemalans no more, Englishmen no more, as far as us, like the Judite tribes and the Benjamite tribes. You know what I'm saying? We won't be speaking Patois no more. We'll be speaking Hebrew, all of us. We'll be of one language. So the tongues are going to cease. But what ain't going to cease when Christ comes back and we all come back into our nation and we all speaking in the Hebrew and talk to each other in Hebrew, what's not going to stop is brotherhood. That ain't going to stop. Keep reading.
Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away.
Is that what's on the screen right now?
Come.
Oh, put it back on me. It's locked.
Let's,
oh, it is on me still?
It's split.
Oh, Most High Christ, Salakia. Read that last part again.
Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away.
Right. Like, at one point, the knowledge was a horse and a carriage. Now the knowledge is self-operating Teslas. People be like, oh, things are modern, things have progressed. All knowledge, because like the iPhone you had when iPhones first came out, that ain't what you got now, right? Back when I'm old. You see all the grays on me. Back when we had Atari, it was a little bar with the little ball bouncing against the bar. We was like, ooh, with the little goofy stick.
Right.
And we thought listen, he had the Atari, brother. He was like, oh, I'm going to Javon house. He got that Atari.
Right.
Then you know what I'm saying? Marcus went and got the Nintendo. I ain't going to Javon. I got that old Atari. Then, you know what I'm saying? Daquan had the Sega. I'm going to Daquan. He got the Sega.
Right.
Then it was the GameCube. Look, man, it keep changing.
Right.
It keep changing. Now it's PlayStation 4s, and is Xbox even still a thing anymore? Or is it all PS4s now, PS5s? Are we at PS6 yet? I don't play games no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't play video games no more. But knowledge is going to vanish. Everything's going to keep going. And what you thought was high at 1 second is going to be nothing. But what's not going to change is how you treat your brother. So, like, go ahead.
I was going to say, just to that point, what you were saying, like, it was a whole debate versus Xbox versus PlayStation. And now I think it's all one interface. I think either it's like you just said, all of it's on one interface. So it's like it's no debate now. So
it's the way you say it's like it's one thing.
Right.
Good night. Dang. Yeah, man. What the thing that, listen, you might come into new information, new knowledge, but what's not going to change is how you deal with your people, how you deal with relationships, because the Lord, male and female, created he them. So you got to deal with your brother and you got to deal with your sister. You got to deal with family. You know what I'm saying? We have to learn how to deal with each other. And I'm going to tell you something. Give me that. Is that it? Okay. Give me that scripture where it says, they'll know that you're my disciples. Give me that. And then we're going to end on that. You know what I'm saying? What Paul was bringing out here was like, a lot of times, this is what I was saying earlier, just because you're in the school doing, which is all great, you're doing all these different kinds of works, right? That's not all the Lord is looking at. You know, for you mothers out there, you know, You might have, you might have to go run errands, go to the store, or maybe, your kids is old enough where you can leave them at home, and you tell them you want certain stuff clean. You say, I want this whole house clean. Well, you better clean your room, right? You come home, they didn't wash the dishes, they didn't set out the meat or started browning the meat that you wanted to make for dinner. They didn't vacuum the living room floor. You know what I'm saying? They didn't clean the bathroom. And then you go into the house, okay, now you smell the food cooked. Okay, they did what I said. All right. And you go see their room, they still got McDonald's bags up in the room, or Wendy's bags, or some old macaroni and cheese that's left in a bowl in their room, and they clothes all over the floor. They ain't washed their clothes. And they didn't did everything else but the room. You're not gonna be happy with that. You're gonna say, did I tell you to clean your room up though? But I did this. I washed the dishes. I took out the trash. I vacuumed the living room floor. Yeah, but I told you to clean your room up. This room is disgusting. The Lord ain't no different. You can do all the food and clothing drives you want to do. You can do you can cook all the food for the brothers. Brothers, you can do all the camp speakings. You know what I'm saying? Take out the trash, mop the floor. But if you're not dealing with your rib in a spirit of Christ, or sisters, you're not dealing with your husband in the spirit of Christ, or brothers, you not dealing with your brothers in a brotherly way, showing respect to the men under your rank, to the men above your rank. The Lord, it's like it's like if you what the scripture saying, James? If you commit one sin, you've done what? You've broken them all.
Right.
So you not doing the one thing and doing everything else, it makes everything else dirty. So yeah, you clean the kitchen, but to her, the whole house, to your mama, the whole house is dirty because you ain't clean your room. That's how the Lord look at it. You got that? Go ahead. But this is how Christ gonna know. This is how people gonna know if you serve Christ. If you serve our King and you say you love Christ, this is how they gonna know it. Go ahead.
It's the book of John, chapter 13, verse 35. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples.
How they gonna know?
If ye have love one to another.
If you got brotherhood one towards another. Not if you got love towards the Caucasian or the African,
right,
or the Chinese man, your fellow Israelite. You having love towards them. You know what I'm saying? Who do you love? You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you, the reason why you don't love your fellow Israelite is because you don't love yourself. You've been destroyed and beaten down to a pulp, to dust in this wicked society, and you really hate yourself. That's why it's so easy for you to pull out a pistol and shoot your brother or run when the police come.
Right.
When them white boys come around, you all smiles. When your brother come around, you ready to get it on. You ready to take a life. Why? Because you really hate yourself, man. So, and you loving your brother is you learn to love yourself.
Right.
And so with that, we're gonna close out there. You know what I'm saying? Lord willing, we'll be back next week. You know what I'm saying? Next Tuesday for some more brotherhood. Brotherhood is the foundation of the kingdom. It's what Christ died for. It's what Commander Johanna, you know what I'm saying, has been standing on this truth for over 55 years for, you know what I'm saying? And the ISUPK holding this down. That's what the Passover is about. It's about brotherhood, man. You know what I'm saying? Christ taking us up out of slavery into, you know what I'm saying, and destroying our enemies for us to learn how to love each other again and to love the Most High. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is about, man. And you know what I'm saying? You want to see some excellent brotherhood, you need to be in Durham, North Carolina, you know what I'm saying, April 20th. And with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians going to be gathered together. And you're going to be seeing all the brotherhood and all the, you know what I'm saying, like you've never seen before. Right. Understand? But with that, we're going to stand and give we're going to do the Lord's Prayer. Let me see. I don't know where this damn gnat's coming from, man.
Go Sarwa Panya Hakadon, which means turn to face the east, which is that way. The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim.
Qudash. Hayah. Shemka.
Yahweh.
Malakukah. Taba'ah. Ratazayaka. Hayah. Aisha. Maratazah. Kawa. Hayah. Bashamayim. Lathanawa. Lakum. Call. Yawam. Masalakinawa. Kawawapnawa. Kasalaknawa. Kawawafinawa. Wala'ah. Tabia'ayanawa. Wanasaya 1. Abal. Hawashayanawa. Bayan. Ra. Kaya. Lakah. Amalakwa. Wahala. Wahatapara. La'awalamyum. Aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. On earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it. Sar. Turn, which means to turn, face the podium. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers, men of Israel. Amajim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatham. Yazamatah, Sar, turn, face the sisters, men of Israel. Amajim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shema Latham Ba Shem Yahshua. Yazamatah, class dismissed.
'55th annual Passover. That's right. The Lord's 55th annual Passover is rapidly approaching. Commanding General Yohana is calling for all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to remember what the Lord did for us by saving us from our oppressors and choosing us to be a special people unto Him, the real Jews and Israelites. Passover will be held in Durham, North Carolina. Pay your Passover fee. Anyone 17 years of age or older must pay $200. Come and enjoy fresh lamb, unleavened bread, and the Spirit of Christ. Can't wait to see you all there, Israel. Shalom.
Cabins on streets and corners, all is feeling righteous. Real particular, nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and warlike apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us.